Hello everyone, we are here with our Week 19 CFL recap, and of course before we start, please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new to the CFL or in general you are new to the channel. So yeah, we are going to be talking about these four games from this past week, and the first one of the week was the Montreal Alouettes at Ottawa to take on the Red Blacks, which ended with an Owls win 34-30. Ottawa took the lead early in this game, needing just 4 plays to score a TD, and then had the PAT afterwards, 7-0. A little later, Montreal's defense got a little revenge, had a forced fumble, scoop and score that tied the game 7-all. Luckily for Ottawa fans, they were able to score on the drive after the fumble, and Montreal later kicked a field goal to make it 14-10. Ottawa, Caleb Evans then scored on a quarterback sneak for the first play of the second, and already the Red Blacks had put up 21 points. You think at some points of last year, of 2019, where this team has really struggled to put together points, to have that many points early on in this game was really cool for them. But Walt Fletcher made this game a little closer before the half with a 40-yard TD reception, 38 of those yards coming after the catch, and the score was 24-17 at the half, with our nation fans happy to have the lead. The Owls responded quickly to start the second, and they saw the score sit 24-20, Ottawa in the lead, and then Ottawa had to punt the ball, and Montreal grabbed the lead after a 10-play drive that ended with a William Stanback rushing touchdown. The Red Blacks were able to make it a little bit spicy to start the fourth quarter with a Lewis Ward field goal to tie it up at 27 apiece, and then we still had plenty of football to play. Guess what? Ward also gave his team the lead with a field goal again midway-ish through the fourth, but of course this was the Red Blacks' last lead as they led 30-27 at the time. Dominic Davis eventually scored the dagger with about 3 minutes left to go in this game, but the Red Blacks had 2 drives to get back the lead, were unable to do so. Montreal clinched a playoff berth and a home playoff game with this win, 8-8. Ottawa not officially eliminated from anything I've seen, but it's pretty grim. As for the other game that night, you saw the Hamilton Tiger Cats taking on the Calgary Stampeders. Final score 35-32 Hamilton. This one was a doozy. Didn't start out great offensively for Calgary. You could argue maybe this is where they lost the game, although I don't think it is. But yeah, they had 2 possessions, and Jake Mayer threw in 2 interceptions on those 2 possessions. Hamilton was only able to get a field goal out of both, but you look at that as time you're not on the field in time that your defense had to be out there, and they did take the lead, so there's that. And there wasn't a whole lot happening the rest of the first quarter, and in the second, that's when things started to get going as Richard Leonard had his pick 6, and Hamilton took the lead back 11-7. The 2 traded field goals before the half to make it 14-10 Tabbies. Tiger Cats came out in the second half, had some big plays before scoring a touchdown to make it a 21-10 lead. Then both sides traded field goals. The Stampeders would get some momentum with the touchdown of their own in the third to make it a 24-20 game with the Ticats in the lead. An onside kick and a field goal later would mean Hamilton led by just 1 point in the fourth quarter. Wes Hills then fumbled the ball, and that eventually led to another Calgary field goal to give them the lead. Midway through the fourth, Tommy Stevens looked like he iced the game with a QB sneak, but a failed 2-point conversion made things a little interesting. Then the man, the myth, the legend, Tim White, that's right, scored with less than 30 seconds, and all was good in the Hammer as their playoff hopes are alive, and they're in the driver's seat of the playoff spot. As for the Saturday games, you had Toronto Argonauts taking on the Edmonton Elks, who had lost 15 in a row at home. That ended up being 16 as Toronto was able to come away from this as the victors 28-23. The first half was all Edmonton for the score as they scored 16 unanswered points at one point with a field goal of Danny V receiving touchdown and then another field goal off of a Toronto turnover. So they were up 16-3. Then Boris Beatty was able to limit some of that damage in the first half to cut the deficit down to 10 points, and that was kind of the first half in summary. It wasn't a crazy exciting half, but it was there, and it was good for Edmonton. Then Toronto went out to score the only points of the third quarter with 2 Boris Beatty field goals, and the start of the fourth really is where this all kind of took a turn where you thought maybe, just maybe, Toronto was going to win this. I think when it was 16-12, I thought, yeah, this is going to be a Toronto win. But yeah, Boris gets another field goal here. He accounted for 15 points, if I'm not mistaken. Well, 5 for 5 on field goals. But yeah, he was able to make it a 16-15 game, just a 1-point game at the time. Kevin Brown rushing TD, and PAT gave Edmonton a little bit of room, and the score was 23-15 Edmonton. Good game by Kevin Brown, by the way. But then things went downhill yet again for the Elks, and it was tough because at the time it didn't look like it. They were able to recover a fumble, and they were in Toronto territory, and then Trey Ford came in and threw a pick. That really was unfortunate because you're thinking if they get points there, they're probably going to win this, but credit to Royce Mechie. Then on the Argos drive, DeVaris Daniels had a huge touchdown to make it a 2-point game. Toronto went for 2 but were unsuccessful, so it was a 23-21 lead for the Elks. The Argos got the ball with about 2 minutes left, and somehow AJ Ouellette scored a rushing touchdown on 2nd and 9. You knew they were going for the field goal, so you knew that they would have to run the ball. I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, they wanted to have a little bit more clock, so let him go through because he was pretty much untouched. I don't know. I wasn't, part of the defense there for Edmonton. But still, the Argos get that touchdown there, and they come out of the game with their 10th win of the season, and the first time since 2013, I want to say that, since they've won at Commonwealth. As for the final game, Winnipeg at BC, 40-32, the Lions won. Winnipeg rested multiple starters here, and Drew Brown got his first start. BC was missing some guys as well, I'll say. And it was a close game, and we saw Janarian Grant get a big return for a touchdown to make it a 10-10 game. Things took a swing in the Lions' way as Drew Brown threw a pick six to Marcus Sayles, and by the end of the half, it was 27-10 BC. Momentum swung back in Winnipeg's favor in the fourth to make it a 30-24 game. BC, of course, having the lead, but the Bombers did outscore the Lions 14-3 in that stretch, thanks to TD receptions by who other than Dalton Schoen and Rasheed Bailey. Then later in the fourth, Winnipeg trying to play catch-up here. We saw that momentum killed with a 102-yard pick six by TJ Lee. Who else? And then there was some late momentum by the Bombers in the dying minutes of that game. Not enough, though, as the Lions moved to 11-5, and Terry Williams had a pretty incredible game himself. A lot of return yards in this one, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, what were your thoughts on this game, this week in general? Let me know down below. Also, do you want me to do recaps kind of like this, where I go through the key moments of the games, or do you want it to be where I go offhand and kind of just talk about my thoughts of the game? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video and subscribe if you are new. Everybody stay safe. Have a great day.